peace. Me and you, let's disturb the peace. We're trying to mind too cool, disturb the peace. I'm a protector on a mission from heaven. There's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, disturb the peace. We're trying to mind too cool, disturb the peace. I'm a protector on a mission from heaven. There's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, let's disturb the peace. We're trying to match your cool. Disturb the peace. I'm a protector on a mission from heaven. There's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, disturb the peace. We're trying to match your cool. Disturb the peace. Let's disturb the peace. Disturb the peace. On a mission from heaven, there's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, let's disturb the peace. We're trying to mind too cool. Disturb the peace. I'm a protector on a mission from heaven. There's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, disturb the peace. We're trying to mind too cool. Disturb the peace. I'm a protector on a mission from heaven. There's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, let's disturb the peace. We're trying to match your cool. Disturb the peace. I'm a protector on a mission from heaven. There's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, disturb the peace. We're trying to match your cool. Disturb the peace. Let's disturb the peace. Disturb the peace. From heaven, there's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, let's disturb the peace. We're trying to mind too cool. Disturb the peace. I'm a protector on a mission from heaven. There's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, disturb the peace. We're trying to mind too cool. Disturb the peace. I'm a protector on a mission from heaven. There's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, let's disturb the peace. We're trying to match your cool. Disturb the peace. I'm a protector on a mission from heaven. There's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, disturb the peace. We're trying to match your cool. Disturb the peace.
Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Disturbing the Peace with John Aman Chukwu. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad that you are here. If you could, please go ahead and like and share this live. Let everybody know that we are live today and we have an amazing show coming up today. We are going to hear from Sheila Armstrong, who has set the Philadelphia City Council ablaze. We're going to talk about Chuck Schumer and his legislation that he's proposing to give the pride flag the same status as the American flag and military flags. We're also going to talk about Hillary Clinton and her clash in Munich with Peter Masinka over gender issues. We're going to do a little recap about President Donald Trump's Black History Month celebration, and where in the world is John Amanchukwu? All of that coming up today here on Disturbing the Peace with John Amanchukwu. All right. We are back. And we are so excited to have another show today. We have some special guests that are going to be with us that'll be coming up shortly. I mentioned Sheila Armstrong. We'll also have John Root, who is going to be with us later in the show. You don't want to miss any part of the show today. One of the things that's going on this week is the NRB, or the National Broadcasters Association, is having their international convention this week in Nashville, Tennessee, and there are several heavy hitters in the world of Christian broadcasting that are there, including David Barton, H.B. Charles, Nicole C. Mullins, Seth Gruber, and Jack Hibbs, and many, 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 many more. I can't name all of the names, but tonight, in partnership with the White House, they are hosting a patriotic celebration commemorating 250 years of American independence. It's going to be an amazing celebration, including remarks from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Seth Dillon, and other public officials. The celebration will showcase special presentations from NRB partners, including Coral Ridge Ministries, PragerU, Wall Builders, and Pray.com. And giving the opening prayer is none other than our very own John Amanchukwu. So we are really excited for him that he's going to be participating in that event tonight. Tune in online, and if you're there, go see him and go show your support. I know that the Lord is going to use him there. One of the things that happened yesterday, we know that we are in the midst of February, and that February is Black History Month, and President Donald Trump hosted his Black History Month celebration there at the White House. John and I were able to be there last year to participate in the celebration. We couldn't be there this year as we're here having the show. And of course, he's there at the NRB. But last year we had a wonderful time. This year's event was just as exciting. It was the 100th anniversary celebration of Black History Month. And throughout the celebration, Trump highlighted achievements of his administration, specifically his focus on the First Step Act for criminal justice reform, the long-term funding for historically Black colleges and universities, opportunity zones, and recent tax policies like no tax on tips. Not bad for a racist, right? He's done some remarkable things, and he highlighted several notable speakers, including HUD Secretary Scott Turner, civil rights attorney Leo Terrell, justice reform advocate Alice Johnson, small business owner Arnett Bradford, anti-violence advocate Felicia Cook, and we're going to talk about her in just a second, and school choice advocate Greta. Trump also took a moment at the beginning to pay tribute to the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. So more to say about Felicia Cook. John did a story about her not too long ago, and she is the woman who tragically lost her grandson to violence. And she praises the administration because, according to what she said, they actually came and they were there, that President Trump sent some of his own appointees to come and check on her and visit her. And according to what she says, the Democrats never came. So she was praising his responsiveness to the needs and his ability to pass harsher crime bills in DC, and we know that crime is going down in DC. And you can see from what the graphic says. She made it very clear. Get off the man's back. Oh man, I really enjoyed what she had to say. We're going to play this for you right now. And this is Passion on Wheels. Let's look at Felicia Cook and her speech there at the Black History Month celebration.
One of those who knows the importance of this mission is Felicia Cook, a lifelong Washingtonian who tragically lost her grandson to violence in 2017. Felicia, we're so sorry, and you are a spectacular person. If you could say a few words, please. Thank you very much. Yes, come on in. Oh, yeah. Oh, help her up. We don't want any mistakes. Come on in.
First of all, can I have a hug?
Yes, you can. Thank you. Thank you. That's so nice. I like her. Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real, just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched, I rallied, I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats, get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news, hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off him. And Grandma said it.
I love it. You heard her. Grandma said it. I love it. I love it. I love it. She was telling the truth, and she was speaking from her own experience that he came, he sent his people to visit her and has done the work to make a change in DC. There are a lot of people who are doing a lot of talking, but President Trump is doing the work to make a change in crime in DC. And even though some people have problems with it, here's the reality. We all know that crime was a problem and has been a problem in DC for a very long time. And instead of making empty promises, this president did the work that was necessary to get DC back on track. So we certainly do celebrate and support him for the work that he did. And I really also, I appreciate what she had to say and even the tone in which she said it. As I said, we went to the White House last year, and the reality is somehow when African Americans go to the White House to celebrate a Republican president, somehow all of a sudden doing so, you are betraying your race, you are betraying your people. Now, we've only had one half Black president, okay? And so there's only been a period of about 8 years that you could go and visit the White House under the reign of an African-American or half African-American president. But somehow, when we went last year, we were traitors to our race. We were following after a white man. But Biden was white, and other than President Obama, all of them have been white. But you know what? Color doesn't matter. The reality that we should be concerned about is the work and the policies that are being pushed. And we were there to support President Trump and to support his policies. And women like Felicia Cook, African Americans like Felicia Cook, all over the country who are realizing that it's not about talking points. We have tried giving the Democrat Party only our loyalty for over 100 years. And now it's about time for us to try something different. So kudos to her. And she said it in such a way that she meant it. One of the things that we say in our community, sometimes we say it like you mean it. And Felicia Cook said it like she meant it. And she said it in such a way, she addressed the blowback that comes. She said, don't come on social media saying stuff about me, getting mad because I'm supporting somebody who deserves to be supported. I'm going to support President Trump because he's doing the right thing. And she said, get off of the man's back. I thought that was so cool. So kudos to her. Again, and we do support her and love her as a grandmother and give her the respect that she deserves. Something that is taking place this week in Los Angeles, there is a lawsuit that is taking place that I think that we all should be keeping our eyes on. Lawyers argue that Instagram and YouTube intentionally addicted and harmed teens in landmark social media trial. This is being reported on CNN Business. And it says that lawyers for a now 20-year-old woman argued that addictive features harmed her mental health as opening statements began Monday in a landmark trial against Meta and YouTube, the first of hundreds of similar cases to go to trial. She is identified as Kaylee, or her initials KGM, and her mother have accused the tech companies of intentionally creating addictive platforms that caused her to develop anxiety, body dysmorphia, and suicidal thoughts. Lawyers for Meta and YouTube have indicated that they will argue that a difficult family life, not social media, was responsible for mental challenges, was responsible for her mental challenges. Speaking on Monday in front of a jury in state court in Los Angeles, Kaylee's lawyer, Mark Lanier, called social media apps like YouTube and Instagram digital casinos, saying the app's endless scroll feature creates dopamine hits that can lead to addiction. Nobody can deny that, right? Nobody can deny that they know how to write the algorithm to get you addicted to the dopamine. If you know how social media works, you know that you can make a post, you make the post, then you can't just make the post. You have to make the post and then you have to wait and see who's going to like it. And then you have to wait to see how many likes you're going to get. And then you have to compare your likes to somebody else's likes. And then you start comparing your body, you start comparing your image, you start comparing the performance of your social media to other people's social media. You can't deny that there is an algorithm and there is a process that is created in social media that not only harms children, but it harms adults as well. So this, the lawyer says this case is about two of the richest corporations who have engineered addiction in children's minds. The swipe for a child like Kaylee, this motion is a handle of a slot machine. Wow. But every time she swipes, it's not for money, it's for mental stimulation. So parents and safety advocates who for years have called for more online guardrails say the trial is a crucial moment of accountability and that executives including Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Instagram CEO and Adam Mosseri and YouTube CEO Neil Mohan are expected to testify in coming weeks. They are expected to testify in coming weeks. That is a huge trial. That is a huge monumental trial. And they're finally having the conversation about social media and the impact that it has on our children and the impact that it's having on our communities. Now, I'm one of those people, I'm in the middle, because I'm sure as you're listening to this and commenting and thinking about it, we all know that two things can be true at one time. Absolutely. The social media platforms have created a slot machine. I like the way they said that, actually. They have kind of created a slot machine platform where, you pull the machine and you're waiting to get the mental and emotional stimulation. We know that all of that is true. All at the same time, we understand that parents have to take the responsibility to make sure that they have control over how much access their children have to these kinds of platforms. You can't just give your children iPads and phones and just leave them there. We have to monitor how much they're using it. And there are all kinds of social media platforms that will allow us. There are all kinds of apps like Screen Time or Life 360. There are different ways that we could be able to monitor what is going on with our children. So it's a little bit of a 50-50 argument for me that certainly the platform should take some responsibility, but all at the same time, there's a responsibility that we have to take as parents. We have to know what's going on with our young people and how much time they are spending on social media. So it's very interesting. And I think that is something that I encourage you to keep an eye on. There's going to be more conversation about this in the coming days and in the coming weeks. I also want to transition and pivot to us showing the video of Sheila Armstrong. She'll be coming on to the show very soon, or may not be able to make it today, but I want to show the video about her. One of the things that inadvertently happened in the wake of the death of Jesse Jackson is that people are seeing more of the videos where President Trump is with Jesse Jackson, where Jesse Jackson, there's a video, and we've shown it a couple of times on this channel, where Jesse Jackson is appreciating President Trump, where he gave him a building to use in New York for some of his work that he was doing. And this is around the same time that we've heard 100 times about him being a racist and certain things that he wouldn't do to help African Americans. And now, after the death of Jesse Jackson, and President Trump is giving him a tribute himself and others, one of the things that people are seeing is this so-called long history of just blatant outright racism. It may not be true. And the reality is this: I can't speak for who is racist. I can't speak that for anybody. Anybody who will tell you that they know for sure whether or not anyone is racist is really not telling the truth. You don't know that. I don't know the intent of anybody's heart but my own. But one of the things that we can say is that in judging someone who is running for public office, that we should judge them for their work's sake, for the works, for the policies. And there are more and more people who are coming to the forefront, even African Americans, who are able to see not just, it's not about President Trump, but our people are finally waking up to the reality that this idea that every politician who is a Democrat cares about Black people, and every politician who is a Republican doesn't care about Black people. People are coming to the realization that that is simply not true. That is a bunch of hogwash. And we are realizing that we have to hold people accountable, no matter who they are, no matter whether they are red or blue, no matter what side of the aisle that they are on. Accountability is what we need. So I want to show you this video of a lady who stood up and who dared to hold the city of Philadelphia accountable for the things that they have and have not done. Let's take a look at this video and we'll come back and talk about it in just a moment.
My name is Sheila Armstrong. Some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't. I have to be honest that I'm not happy to be here today because of what God had put on my heart to say today. I really try to stay in my lane. I created Cooker for Autism so I could do my advocacy work in peace and mind my own business and just help the people that I like to help, because I don't do politics. I don't like politics, and y'all know this. God put on my heart a warning that is coming from the book of Matthew 6:5 and Matthew 23:15. The message is, woe to you elected officials of the law. You are hypocrites. Woe to you that organize on the backs of parents and students of the Philly school district, but yet more schools are closing. Woe to you that supported the plastic bag ban, but manufacturers are using plastic for everything. That hardship of people paying for bags to take their grocery home. Woe to you that supported the resign and run legislation, but now trying to change it because it now affects you. Woe to you that shout one Philly, but villainize those that disagree with you. Woe to you that claims to be representations of God, but support legislation that is against him. Woe to you that says you support women and talk bad about any woman that stands against you or whatever your policies or anything that you're doing. Woe to you that work for special interest groups that donated to your campaign, but leave the rest of us people out here desperately searching for hope from somewhere. Woe to you that continually saying the ICE out, because in these streets, it's being interpreted as illegal immigrants is in, and that this council cares more about illegal immigrant than the American citizens in this city. Woe to you, elected officials, hypocrites. Woe to you.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. She said it. She stood on business. She said it. And she is actually running in Philadelphia for the 3rd Congressional District. And I pray, just based on hearing what she's saying, I pray that she wins. You know, there are so many people who will go and do a speech before the city council, and it's just a blip on the screen. They just sit there and they look at you respectfully. They give you your time. They hear you and they don't hear you. And then you're gone. And hey, I'm married to John Amanchukwu, so I know that you can do a lot of work and you can change the world in a 3-minute speech. You know, just look at what he's been able to do speaking to school boards. This woman went and did a speech and she called them out. She said words like woe to you, not just words of secular meaning, but woe is a biblical term. It is a powerful exclamation expressing grief, anguish, misery, or a solemn annunciation of divine judgment. And that's what is amazing about the things that she had to say. So I'm so glad that we're able to get her in with us now. Sheila Armstrong, God bless you. How are you?
God bless you, my sister. Thank you for this opportunity and welcoming me. How you doing?
Oh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. And I'm fired up.
Yes.
Looking at your speech.
I
And
love that energy.
yes, it fires us up. It fires us up. And I can see how you are just speaking the truth. So you said, let's get into the conversation, because I can't wait to hear from you.
Okay.
You said in your speech that you didn't even feel like being there that day, but you went. What motivated you to go?
God.
Mm.
Okay. I tell everybody, I do everything because God purposed on my heart to do it. 20 years ago, I gave my life to God, and God told me to follow him, and I will have the peace that I was seeking, because I ain't had a life. I grew up in a life of turmoil. And just quickly to tell my story, from the ages of 7 to 14, I experienced abuse, molestation. At the age of 14, I decided to run away from home, and I did the street life from 14 to 24. The only thing I did not do was prostitution, because I finally felt ownership of my own body, the freedom of my own body. Okay, at 24, what changed was I got pregnant. And the pregnancy is what changed me, because it made me realize the kind of future that I want to raise my child in. And I knew that the lifestyle that I was living was not a good lifestyle. So that is what hit at 24. I got pregnant, and then God honestly intervened from there. Because I didn't even expect to be pregnant. So with this progress and all the work that I've done, I just focus on using my life as a living testimony of what can happen when you give your life to God and when God is in charge. I was a high school dropout. I want people to
Mm-hmm.
understand this. Before I gave my life to God, I was a high school dropout. I was running these streets, selling drugs, doing everything wrong. When I gave my life to God, I went back to school. I got my GED, and in 2014, I graduated with my master's degree. Okay, I'm the first one in my family to even have a high school diploma and even a master's degree. So I took the ownership of being the family curse breaker in my family.
Wow.
So this is it's what my heart is to do. So I did not want to speak down City Hall. I did not at all. I'm happy in my own world. Being the organizer here in Philadelphia for 20 years, I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I have seen how we will rally around people and help them up and restore families. And I also have seen how the city tear people down also too, without any support. So with that being said, I don't look forward to going to City Hall and City Council and speak in front of them, because I know some of them people personally. I had relationships, pre-existing relationships with them personally. So I don't have a desire, because I thought I knew their heart. But unfortunately, the position changes them. And then
Wow.
that was what came out of that conversation. I did not want to be there. Most of them people in city council, they know me. I marched with them. I rallied with them. I was one of 6 parents that sued the state of Pennsylvania for the fair funding formula, and we won that. It was a landmark decision. Now the state legislation have to now fix how our funding is done. And unfortunately, we still got to stay on top of that, because they playing games with that also. So
Wow.
I don't have no desire to ever speak in front of no city council or anything like that, because I don't do politics. I do people. That's my slogan. I don't do politics. I do people. Okay. I'm there for the people. God put me on the earth for the people. When he saved me, he told me that my job was to go back into the communities that I came out and tell them and see them and let them see me, how I changed, how I grew, my patience level, everything. I'm the woman today because of God and everybody he put around me.
Awesome. Well, I can tell that. I can tell that you are a woman of faith in the Lord, and that conviction shapes a lot of what you're doing and what you're saying. Why do you think that your particular message to the city council has gone viral?
Because it's the truth.
Mm.
God go viral. God does the promotion. God makes sure his message is out there. And God wanted everybody in leadership to know he's watching, and to remind them that I don't care what leadership position you is, whether it's an elected official, you're a deputy in a department, anything of that nature, remind them that God does the promotion. And just like you got that seat of power,
Mm-hmm.
God could take that power right back from you. And you could be in the same predicament I am, paycheck to paycheck, looking for the next, like, you can be in these shoes. So that was, and then the other part that God want me to sit there and share with people is to help them recognize how to vote for people.
Yeah.
Stop listening to their words, but look at their fruit. God has been getting on top of me about that, because of the fact of how we're going to be saying we're representatives of God, but then we're promoting everything that is not like God.
Mm-hmm.
That is the fruit that God be talking about, that we got to look at. What kind of fruit are they producing? Are they producing good fruit or rotten fruit? And that's how we can do. So it's literally God. Like I tell everybody, half the time I don't even know I'll be saying, because I allow the Holy Spirit to just take over and use me. I didn't even know all the stuff I said till people told me.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, one of the things that stood out for me when I heard you spoke is that you use biblical language. You were saying, woe, woe to you, woe to you. You even used one of the words that Jesus would use. You called them hypocrites. And that was something he would say to people who were not doing what they were supposed to do, who were using power to benefit themselves and not for the work of the people that they were called to benefit, and certainly were not doing the work of the Lord. So, in particular, what specific issues were you most wanting to bring to their attention, to the city
It's
council?
it's 3 specific issues that I have One is the education component. When I started in
Right.
politics, it was because of education. All right. I had to sue the school district just to get my son the services for my son is autistic. My organization is called Cooking for Autism. Okay. And that's how I got into all this political stuff and politics, was fighting for my son's education services, because unfortunately Philadelphia public schools is not the greatest. And it was a problem getting the services. So when I got involved, that was the issue. And then my son's school, 10 years ago, my son's school, Harrison Elementary School, was shut down by the city of Philadelphia 10 years ago. And here we are 10 years later, where Philadelphia is about to close another 20 schools here in the city of Philadelphia that they announced. Okay. And it's like, here we go, another cycle, another family dealing with what I had to deal with, especially with having a special needs child. Having a special needs child, when you have special needs child with these services, you get them in place. It's hard to transfer these services from one school to another and all these things. And I'm thinking about the parents and the families that is going through this whole process again of now your neighborhood school is closing. You don't know where your child is going to go to, what opportunities available and anything. And it's confusion and it's not stabilizing. And here goes city council. You supposed to be the people that help bring stability to our neighborhoods, but you're creating chaos and instability. That's the hypocrisy that bothers me. That was the part of education. The second part is definitely with this ICE stuff. Okay, this ICE stuff is driving me crazy, because at the end of the day, what is so wrong? And I'm asking people, what is wrong about taking care of home first? Amen. What is wrong with taking care of? I don't have a problem with immigrants that come in here legally. We have a process.
Right.
God does things decently and orderly. So if you're a person of God, why aren't you doing things through the process? If you're not doing things through a process, you're in rebellion and you're being rebellious to the spirit. And that's what God is. We got to call this stuff out. That's what God is purposing on my heart. We got to, because people, we don't even know. Like, I was talking to somebody today and I said, do you know how God don't like gossip? And yet we be gossiping every day, but God can't stand gossip, because gossip is tearing people down. And yet we're supposed to be using our words to uplift people. But yet TikTok, social media, all that, these are forms of gossip.
Indeed.
People don't even recognize that.
Indeed.
You know, so that was the ICE thing is driving me crazy, especially the part where my father was a veteran. He came home from Vietnam War with a drug addiction. Because he came back with a drug addiction, they denied his VA services. Okay, my father never received his VA services, never got it, never anything. And then here we go. My father passed away in 2012. And it was so funny because I was listening and I felt my father's spirit, and him hearing him. Here we go again. Americans always taking care of everybody else instead of taking care of people else.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Still true today.
That's the problem with this country. You're taking care of everybody else. You're in everybody else's business. But here at home, you ain't fixing nothing. We still, and matter of fact, it's worse than what it is. Because at least back in the day, I was able to sit there and sit on my steps and don't worry about getting shot or anything like that. Here in the city of Philadelphia, we got to worry about we going to sit on our steps and get hit by shot or get shot or something like that. It's worse now. It's worse now that because I'm telling you the truth, you choose to villainize me.
Right.
Because you don't want to sit there and hear the truth of the matter. And this is my truth. I grew up in Philadelphia, born and raised here all my life. Never moved, lived nowhere else. Nobody could tell me about my city the way I know my city. And all I see is gentrification pushing us out and not restoring us, not giving us money so we can go start our businesses. Why do a lot of Black people here in the North, that's why we're all moving down south. Because that's why you had such an influx of Black people moving to Atlanta, to the Carolinas, to Texas, and things of that nature. Why? Because we have opportunity there. Up here in the North, we don't have no opportunity up here. They closed us out. Here in Philadelphia, I feel like I'm on a Democrat plantation.
Wow.
Because if you don't do what they say to you to do, they block you out in funding. I'm a Republican. I'm a loudmouth Republican. I've been a loudmouth since I switched my party 6 years ago. I wasn't a Republican. I was a Democrat before. So I'm not like this. What you see is what you get, and I'm a transparent book because God told me. God made Himself transparent to me, so my job is to make myself transparent to others. So like I have real talk with Jesus conversation times. Like we're gonna have real talk and pull out the Bible and let's go see what the Bible says about whatever topic we're discussing. And I want to sit there and say thank you, Pastor Duncan and Pastor Shalyn Brown. These are ladies, Pastor Elder Jeanette. These are the ladies that surrounded me, and helped me become the woman I am today. Okay, because like I said, I came from a broken, traumatized. I was a traumatized young lady. I was. Okay, and now I'm proud to say I'm healed and whole in God. And my job is to help other people be healed and whole in God too. All right, so that's
that's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Well, we are so touched and so proud of your message and your testimony. It's interesting to hear because I'm glad that you mentioned ICE out because that was going to be one of my questions for you because that was such a poignant message because we're hearing so many people, even in our community, jumping on ICE out. And the data, the information, everything is telling us that is not a message that we should be taking. We are struggling enough in our cities on our own. And we do have, as you said, veterans. And we just have Americans in general who are struggling, and we should be taking care of America first. So Sheila Armstrong, we appreciate you so much. How can we get in contact with you, follow you, and learn more about the work you're doing and even Cooking for Autism?
So you can go to Cooking for Autism website and just Google us. But the one thing that I want to share right now, because one thing we talk about it, but we got to be about it. And change in Philadelphia, we need structural change. With that being said, also too, I decided to run for Congress here in Philadelphia on a Republican ticket. So I'm asking everybody to support because I'm running as a Republican here in Philadelphia, a Democrat stronghold on a Republican ticket. And you'd be surprised. I'm going through everything under the sun and the moon. So I'm asking support for ArmstrongForPhilly.com is my website for me running for Congress. Cooking for Autism, Google me, Facebook, everything's public. I'm not hidden, like I said. I'm not hidden. I'm in plain sight. As the kids sit there and say that I work with, I'm in plain sight. You can find me. Okay.
That's right.
When you looking for me, you can find me. Trust definitely. Yes.
Awesome.
And I want to thank you for y'all. You and your husband are so powerful and so great. And I'm asking y'all, I'm putting it out there. I need y'all to come to Philly. I need y'all here in Philly. I need y'all to help us. We have churches. I am working with churches. We're getting organized, quiet as kept, but we have to do it under the radar because what has been done over the 5 years, they have been attacking the churches and the facilities and the businesses that help me. Okay, and how they weaponize the attack is by they send L&I, license and inspections, to inspect these buildings and stuff, and they find different codes and try to sit there and say, like one church that I was using as my base, they went in there and did all type of stuff. They try to say it was mold in the HVAC system. Then we got our own inspection done. And so this is the attacks that I'm enduring here in the city of Philadelphia as Republicans trying to do this work. So a lot of stuff we doing, we're the Underground Railroad here in Philadelphia. Republicans, especially Black Republicans, we're quiet. It's the Underground Railroad. It's a lot of us, but we're very quiet because of the weaponization of our government against anybody that's in the Republican Party. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will let John know, Philly he's been to several states. So Philly is not too far away. We spent some time there not too long ago. So we would love to come and help and support the city of Philadelphia and make some positive change. Thank you so much, Sheila Armstrong. We'll definitely have you again in the future. Thank you so much. Yes. All right. That was an awesome segment. Now we're going to transition and talk about Why Refi, our sponsor, Why Refi. We are here today in Why Refi Studios. And so we want to talk to you about Why Refi. Folks, let's face it. If you have distressed or defaulted private student loans, nobody is coming to bail you out. And bankruptcy is not an option, but you can take charge of your situation by contacting Y Refi. Can you imagine being debt free and not living under the burden anymore? The first step is contacting Y Refi. If you go to yrefi.com, you can read testimonials from other people who have been where you are and how they have escaped. You can even see what their monthly payments were versus what they are now. Y Refi offers a 3-minute rate check without any credit impact. So you lose nothing. Bad credit is accepted. Again, bad credit is accepted. Do you have a co-borrower? Y Refi can get them released from the loan. You can give mom and dad a break. You can even skip a payment every 6 months up to 12 times without penalty. That's amazing. You don't have to ignore that mountain of student loan debt. Statements that are on your kitchen table anymore. Just call 888-YREFI-85. That is, call 888-YREFI-85 or log on to YREFI.com. That is YREFY.com. Go to YREFI.com, check those folks out. They are able to help and to support you with your student loan debt. Next, we want to transition, prepare for our next segment. Hillary Clinton was speaking in Munich. There's been a lot that has happened in Munich. Hillary Clinton was there and she was speaking with a Czech political leader in a discussion centered around democracy and women's rights. The moment the topic shifted to gender ideology, you could feel the temperature changing in the room. The Czech representative made it clear, in his view, women's rights are rooted in biological sex. That's a wild idea, isn't it? Period. He believes that women's rights are rooted in biological sex. He expressed concerns that redefining womanhood to include gender identity blurs legal protections that are designated specifically for females. And Clinton began to push back and just really act in a way that I would say, we have a lot of talk about what is beneath the office of a presidency. I think that her behavior was beneath the office of a first lady and of who she is and what she and her husband represents in this country. Take a look at this video and we'll come back with more discussion.
Back, I suspect, to the conservatism and liberalism clash within the West, but thank you for that. Peter, do you agree that the Trump administration's actions on Ukraine have produced a rift in the West?
Well, first, I think you really don't like him.
You know, that is absolutely true. But I really, not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think that there is something good that will come out of it.
Peter,
what I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something for some policies that really went too far from the regular people, too far from reality. So, you know, we saw the cancel culture. We saw the woke revolution. I don't agree with the gender revolution, the climate alarmism.
Which gender? Women having their rights?
No, let Peter go on.
I think there are two genders. So, but some of us think that there is more than one or more than two gender. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct. So this is something that went too far.
But does that justify selling out the people of Ukraine who are on the front lines dying to save their freedom and their two genders, if that's what you're worried about?
Can I please finish my points? I'm sorry that it makes you nervous. I'm really sorry for that.
It makes me nervous. It makes me
No, but seriously, can we let Peter finish, please? Can we let Peter finish, please?
I have to say one more thing. You said that Ukraine fights for our future and for our freedom. I think first, Ukraine fights for Ukraine's future, Ukraine's freedom, and Ukraine's sovereignty and independence. So we should help them, of course. But what I see in some people in the West, they are trying to help the Ukraine.
That was interesting. So you could see the conversation that was taking place there. What started as a foreign affairs policy panel quickly turned into something else. Hillary Clinton, just to give context as to what they were talking about before the conversation made that turn, Hillary Clinton was blasting President Trump, his approach to Ukraine as disgraceful and even a betrayal of Western values. But Peter Masinka pushed back, and he was arguing that what Trump was doing was more so a reaction to cancel culture and the woke revolution that has been happening in America. Now, it's amazing that as he started to talk about President Trump's and how his actions were a reaction to the woke left, Hillary Clinton just immediately jumped in and said, what, are you talking about women's rights? And my question is, what did he say about women's rights? There was nothing that he presented in what he said about women's rights. And he talked about gender, and he talked about the gender revolution. And this is the game that the Democrat Party likes to play. When you mention the word gender, they automatically pivot to women's rights or something like that. But mind you, these are the same people who, if you ask them what a woman is, they're not going to give you a clear answer. The Supreme Court justice doesn't have a clear answer. The biologist doesn't have a clear answer. Going by their beliefs, they don't even have a clear answer for what a woman is, but they claim themselves to be the defenders of women's rights. And so he began to push back on what she was saying, and I was so glad, because the reality is that since returning to office in January 2025 and during his first tenure, President Donald Trump hasn't blocked any legislation or anything that is related to women's rights. President Trump has not done that. What legislation has he stood by? Has he presented? What has he done that has harmed biological women? And the truth of the matter is he hasn't done anything. What he has done, his administration has actively supported bills that progressives oppose, bills like the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act that seeks to exclude rainbow people who identify as women. I don't want to say a certain word so that we don't get blocked on YouTube, but so that people who identify as women but are not women are not allowed to participate in women's sports. He has also pushed his own women's rights agenda, preventing violence against women by illegal aliens. And we all know, if you've read the headlines, and if you don't know, Google it. You'll be able to see for yourself that there has been a lot of sexual assault, all kinds of things that have happened that women have endured by illegal aliens. And these things barely make the headlines. We barely hear about them because ICE out. You're going to hear all about that, but you're not hearing about the women, red, yellow, black, white, and candy stripe, who are being susceptible to violence because of illegal aliens. So the reality that struck me as she was talking is that Hillary Clinton, and I don't think anybody else really has a clear answer on how President Donald Trump has opposed women's rights, because I believe people like Hillary Clinton and the left have shifted their view of women's rights as reproductive freedom. What President Trump has done is he has repealed some of the funding for Planned Parenthood. He has repealed and rolled back some of the executive orders from Biden that has let us have a free-for-all on abortion in this country. And so when they say women's rights, and it's very important that women, especially Black women, that we understand this, that when the left talks about women's rights, they are not, number one, they're not necessarily talking about women, because they don't have a clear consensus on who and what women are. They may be talking about you, who was born as a female. They may be talking about the white guy who's delivering mail who identifies as female. Why not? So there's not a clear message on who they're talking about. The only rights that they are specifically honing in on when they are talking about women is abortion and what they call reproductive freedom. And that's because those are the only people who benefit from it. A woman who identifies, a male who identifies as a woman can't have an abortion. There's no need. It doesn't relate to any other part of their agenda for women. They don't have anything that specifically applies to us, but they do support ideologies that will say that men can participate in sports with our women, with our daughters, that men can be in our restrooms. They are taking away from the spaces that are specifically designed for us in society. They will even have you under the belief that men can have menstruation. And that is just not true. So I want to talk more about this. Next, I'm going to bring up John Root. John Root is a faith, sports, and culture commentator with over a decade of experience in digital media and broadcasting. He has worked with sports organizations, and now he is working independently, focusing on content creation for Christian values, cultural issues, and conservative public commentary. How are you doing, John?
Hey, great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on with us today. Absolutely. I hope that you were able to see the clip that we were talking about with Hillary Clinton and Peter Masinka. What do you think about this? How do you interpret when we're looking at an event and it's happening on the global stage, and you have to look at our own representatives, people who have worked in our government who represent us, that are having these conversations? How do you interpret moments like this in our broader cultural struggle?
I just love that currently right now we have right versus left in America. And then, like you said, when we're on the national stage and we have someone like, unfortunately, Hillary Clinton representing the United States, and they get pushed on it, they don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden this turns into, are you mansplaining? And then now you get into more gender confusion and hypocritical aspect of gender ideology. And I love how he was bringing that up. It's like, you guys, he's essentially saying America has been off its rocker with cancel culture, radical gender ideology. So how do you explain these things? Like, we know, Hillary, you hate Donald Trump, but this is more than Trump. This is a new ideology that is absolutely flooding into your culture, and it's affecting not just political policy, but individual citizens. And I loved seeing Hillary Clinton squirm. I love seeing her actually get pushed on things. And more than anything, I love seeing the double standard get exposed on the world stage.
I felt the same way, and she was absolutely squirming. He even said to her, "Hey, I'm sorry to make you nervous." And I think that I think he knows that she wasn't nervous, but I think he was trying to use a nice word instead of saying, "You're really agitated." I think he was trying to give a nice way of saying, "Hey, Hillary, calm down." You know, she was really, really worked up. one of the problems that we have with this conversation is if we can't define a category, we can't protect that category. So that's the concern that many women are having globally. When laws protecting women in sports, prisons, shelters, and scholarship and healthcare were written, they were originally written for biological women. It was based on biological sex. So if that term has become something that is self-declared rather than a biological category, my question is, how will we enforce those laws? Share your thoughts on that.
Hey, and then I'm actually not able to, I can't hear you right now. I wasn't able to hear that question at all. So I don't know if we figure out the audio just a little bit. I'm not able to hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Hey, no
Oh,
problem.
I got
me
you now.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
I got
good.
you now. I'm sorry.
All right. And what I was saying is that I was asking the question, most of our laws that do relate to women's rights that people like Hillary Clinton and all of us, certainly me as a woman, that we are concerned about, most of those laws that were for our protection in sports and prisons and shelters and work, all of those laws were originally written for women who are biologically female. And I hate to even have to say that, but it was based on biology. So now that word woman or that designation is becoming something that is self-declared rather than biological, how do you think that we're going to enforce those laws going forward?
Well, because it constantly gets down to us as Christians are like, stop pushing your theology on us, stop pushing the Bible on us. And it's like, we don't put the Bible to the side, but the Bible doesn't contradict science. We know scientifically when it comes to life begins at conception. And we know that a woman can't become a man and a man can't become a woman. This is a biological fact. We shouldn't have to have a disclaimer that it's like, well, someone that identifies as a woman or a biological woman. A woman is a woman, a man is a man. And if people want to say, hey, you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, that doesn't change the biology. I can say that I'm a rich man, but that doesn't change the amount of money that I have in my bank account. And I think that's what we're running into here. And, I know you and John have constantly exposed that. And that's what it comes down to is our laws need to be based in the truth. If we are going to continue to be a nation under God, we need to recognize how God designed us. And God designed us, and his word does not, again, contradict science. So if people are going to say on the left, trust the science, you guys are the ones that are redefining the science. And you are the ones that don't actually trust the science. So that's why I wish we can have more of a truthful conversation. Even having people on the left saying, I would at least say I'm having an ideological discussion saying what I believe about gender. You're not having a biological and scientific and truthful, foundationally truthful discussion. You're having an ideological conversation. I wish they would at least be more consistent with that. And that's exactly what it comes down to. It's just they are anti-science and they are anti-God.
Absolutely true. Have you heard about Chuck Schumer's legislation to hang the pride flag? I'm
having trouble hearing you again. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, let me play this video about Chuck Schumer. He wants to offer up some legislation. He's responding to President Trump, who is removing the pride flag from the Stonewall Monument. And it is prompting some backlash from furious LGBTQ activists. And so Chuck Schumer has an idea. We'll just give the pride flag the same level of credence as the American flag and military flag. Let's watch this.
So, folks, we're here, of course, at Stonewall, which is the birthplace of the LGBTQ plus movement. The sacred ground here represents courage, resiliency, the fight for equality, which always goes on in America. This sacred ground is so important. And in 1969, as everybody knows, brave New Yorkers stood up here as an act of resistance, targeting against discrimination. It sparked the beginning of a movement that changed America and the world forever. And we're not going back. We're not going back. The Trump administration's removal of the Pride Rainbow flag from the Stonewall National Monument is a deeply outrageous action that must be reversed. It's an effing disgrace.
Right.
It's just awful. When the Trump administration ripped the Pride flag down, it was a direct attack on this community, attempt to chip away at hard-won civil rights. So today we're fighting back and taking action. I am introducing legislation to designate the Pride flag as a congressionally authorized flag in America, and that means it can be flown here and everywhere else. And no one can take it down.
No one can take it down. Were you able to see or hear any of that?
I'm having trouble hearing you, but if you're asking me my reaction to that clip and you're able to hear me, in general, what we're doing here is, again, elevating godlessness. That's what we're coming into. It's like, this is essentially a religion. You know, they want to put it on the same level as patriotism. And I know I got the Olympics in the background right now, and we got a figure skater, Amber Glenn, and I was just looking up some things while that clip was going on. And in her bio, it says Team USA, and the American flag isn't there. It's the Pride flag. And,
I saw that.
And that's exactly what we're seeing here is they want this sexual depravity and sexual degeneracy and gender delusion elevated to the same level as the American flag, the POW flag. And it, again, this is a religion. And if we're going to, again, be one nation under God, we need to recognize that men are men, women are women, that marriage is between one man and one woman. There's a lot of work that America needs to do to get back to actually honoring God. But I wish the flag wasn't reinstated. I wish we didn't have people in government that were trying to not just celebrate Pride or celebrate Pride Month or Pride Nights in sports. I wish they wouldn't elevate it to such a huge level. But this is where we need actual Republicans, actual conservatives, actual Christians to push back. And the most loving thing they can do is not allow this, push back against this, and tell people that the way, the truth, and the life is Jesus Christ. We need to honor him, and it's not honoring to have a nation that wants to elevate sexual depravity, gender delusion, and things that continue to be pushed on children through this. This is not just about adults wanting to wave a pride flag. This is about what they're pushing on kids and radically changing America.
Absolutely. Well said. You just had the last word for the show today. You absolutely said it. And I saw Amber Glenn, and she did a lot of talking, and then she came in 13th place. And I'm like, Amber, you can just focus on skating or focus on what you're actually there to do. So that's all the time that we have for today. Super thanks to John Root and to Sheila Armstrong and to all of you for joining us today. Listen, we are peace-loving people, but we will not give the enemy any peace. So we're going out today, leaving today from Yrefy Studios. Don't just be a lump on a log. Go out there and disturb the peace. God bless you. We'll see you back tomorrow at 2 p.m.